Any health, whatever.
Facilities Committee of the Fallbrook Regional Health District.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
May now come to
Order. We got the gavel.
so I can't sign and talk at the same time, obviously. But I can listen.
So we won't do a formal roll call since Bill Leach isn't able to join us this evening.
Right.
Roy, do you have any public comment announcements?
No.
So we have no public comment announcements. So Howard, I'll just jump to discussion items if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
A is the site logic update. The team did the substantial completion walkthrough with site logic at the Community Health and Wellness Center today. There's a couple of small things on their punch list, very, very minor, labeling, repainting a curb, a couple of caps on a few open conduits for the eventual solar that's going to come in, that kind of thing, but nothing real. So we've signed for substantial completion to release funds. We're going to be waiting for SDG&E to do their final inspection before the whole thing is energized. Once that's the case, and I am still finalizing with our engineer, Jonathan at SiteLogic, to set whatever the rate will be for the EV charging stations, to make sure that we are recouping whatever the cost is. But other than that, SiteLogic is done at Community Health and Wellness Center. Looks great. They provided everything per contract and per promise that they gave us, or that they promised us, we got, I should say. For admin building, I have communicated with Dr. Skio regarding the boundary lot line adjustment. He has the documents.
Any feedback yet?
Not really. So I've also provided information about the project to new legal counsel. So when I'll follow up next week with Dr. Skio and make sure that Skio has the opportunity to connect with Alex. Other than that, we're just kind of waiting for those documents to be signed. They can't do the lot line adjustment, obviously, until we have some clarification on next steps, if Skio is going to request something for that or not.
This talking about the conversation with Jeff, I think half of the time we were there, he was defending himself on why he couldn't, shouldn't, needn't have known about the problem. And I don't think either Jennifer or I did anything but listen. So
good to know. All right, so that's all I've got on SiteLogic. Any other questions, concerns, anything I left out, you guys, from your walkthrough this morning? No. All right. Well then,
electric units cost anything if they're not being used?
No, because the solar is always well, in theory, the solar is generating, but unless those chargers are being used, it's not drawing anything. It might be a nominal amount because they have a little light on them, but it's not going to cost us anything unless they're in use. I'll jump to item B, which is building A, room 2, which is under design with the Encinitas design group for our demonstration kitchen. We kind of just put them on hold after our last kind of walkthrough design to let SiteLogic finish up, because we knew that there might be some switching, moving around on their part for the electrical. So we wanted SiteLogic to finish their plans, and then we could work with Encinitas design group if anything has to be amended in their design. So there's really nothing to upgrade just yet. We'll circle back to Todd within the next week, probably, and kind of decide where to go from that. For item C, which is building B, the education rooms, rooms 3 and 6, and then the interior, exterior restrooms as well. That's Arch 5 design. We did the bidders conference site walkthrough this week. We didn't have anyone show, but I have sent it out to multiple GCs. We know that we had one who did the walkthrough at the last time we had that RFP open, but through the holidays just wasn't able to connect. So we know that we'll have one that's interested. I had another person, relatively local to the community indicate they were interested. So maybe they're already familiar, didn't really need, not really sure. But that, bid opening will be on March, I believe it's 12th. It's the date of the next board meeting. So we're waiting to see what happens on that one. And then letter D, which is related, the ADA sidewalks and ramps. Remember, that's the sidewalk that runs in front of building A. Then there's an ADA ramp that circles right at the corner of the parking lot and will then connect building A to building B. So you're not walking through the parking lot, as well as creating a new ADA sidewalk and ramp at the lower part of the parking lot, kind of almost frontage to the parking lot, turning around and then dipping down to go into this shade structure. So that if someone is at the property and they have disability needs, they can access that shade structure through those new ramps. So that RFP was also put out. Again, we didn't have anyone show up. I did send it out to the folks who did the sidewalk project, LC Paving for us, and a few others. We'll just do I'll do probably just a tickler email like, hey, don't forget, this is coming due. And that's pretty much it for construction at this point. We did have in the wellness center, between the last two classrooms at the end, 3 and 6, we have our little storage room, and then you go into the staff area. Above that, which is the attic roof access, we have a small water heater, and apparently it had a leak because it's God knows how old. And it overflowed the pan and overflowed the wall, hit the floor. Luckily at the time we had one of our GC handyman guys there 5 minutes maybe after it happened, 10 minutes, something like that. So between Jesse and Teresa and the team, they were able to catch it very quickly, get things dried out. They've had fans on it. We purchased a drywall moisture meter reader thingy. Because it got scooped up pretty fast, we just wanted to make sure, because it had hit the wall that would have been next to Katya's office. We're not seeing any water or wet. There's a couple areas that's been kind of cool and moist, but not enough to probably promote mold growth, and they've had fans on it the entire time. So we'll watch that. Since we know that room 3 and 6 are all part of renovation, there wasn't a lot of work to rip that out yet, because that's going to get ripped out when we go into renovation. So we're just going to monitor it for now.
Always something, huh?
Facilities, always something.
Does it, in the renovation, does it have to be there?
That's what one of the things we're going to have a conversation, see if we can move it somewhere else. Unfortunately, the pipes in that building won't support a tankless water heater, which would have been preferred. I wanted to put in some Instahots, but apparently the piping won't work for that for whatever reason. So we'll talk to probably Jeff, our plumber, see if he's got an idea. And then when the GC comes in, it'll probably have to be a change order because it's not built into the RFP right now to redesign that. But I think we could probably talk to them at the time. Because it's not great that it's up and in that wall. It'd be great if it was
No,
someplace.
they always leave.
They- Eventually, right?
Yeah.
Part of the plan for that room conversion is just the way the bathrooms and everything were configured. We're creating a new space that has what we're calling the prep room. So that, let's say that's a room we're going to have a larger meeting, someone could cookies and their desserts in that space. Or we talk about if we were doing mother and baby classes, it could be a lactation room, really kind of trying to make it a useful space. That might be a better place, and it's still in the same plumbing wall. So having it in that space might be a better option. Yeah. Put them in. There's one in our ceiling up here too, but Luckily, it's on a platform right over the sink, so we can see it easily. But I think that's it. There hasn't been anything else. Runoff is standard at the wellness center. Teresa did work with LDC, our landscaper, to make sure that there was a couple of spots that are dug out so that the drainage can happen instead of flooding across walkways. So she and her team are usually watching that, but other than that, nothing else on facilities for me.
Sounds good.
Anybody else? Anything from you, Howard?
No,
Okay,
finish the checks.
finish the checks.
Thank you.
All right. So unless you have anything else, you're welcome to adjourn us.
I can always delete email.
Yeah. All right, so then we'll go ahead and adjourn at what, 5:21 or something?
5:20.
Perfect. Perfect timing, because it looks like maybe we're stopping a new lawyer. Looks like Alex may have just pulled in.